Alright, so I watched a TV series recently called Reacher. I stumbled upon this randomly. I heard about it in a podcast described as Sherlock Holmes which kicks ass. After watching, don't know if I'd go there, but I can see the resemblance. Either way, I binged it quite a bit. Not exactly in one sitting, but it was fairly quick. So yeah, it's definitely a recommendation. What is it about? A big muscle-bound dude going around North America getting into trouble. That's really it. What did I enjoy? First thing that comes to mind, the one-liners, or just quips in general. For example, once the protagonists are in a hospital, one of the villain goons is recovering there. To get information out of him, Reacher says, "You know how a catheter works? As a balloon inflated, keeping it in place. If I fill the balloon with air, it'll burst the balloon and tear your urethra apart like a piñata. I've messed up a lot of guys a lot of ways, but I've never done that. To be honest, I'm kinda curious how you'll react." I just burst out laughing right there. Shortly after that, there's a fight with another guy, and he tries to cut him up with a saw, but Reacher unplugs it and it falls to the ground. Cue in more fighting. After a bit more fighting, that guy falls on the saw and bleeds out instantly. Reacher then goes, "Shit, I wanted to question him," in this exasperated tone. This blatant disregard for human life, coupled with dark humor, is just delightful sometimes. When it's done right. Undead girl murder farce. Sorry, I just had something in my throat. Reacher really reminds me of Schwarzenegger at his best, like saying, "You're fired. You're fired," at the end of True Lies. Something about the accent though, it just works a little better. Still, definitely enjoyed the writing. Actually, that's pretty much it. This felt like the old action flicks from when I was a kid, just a big badass guy fighting against some evil whatevers and flirting with a random chick for a season. I think I've missed this. Modern stuff is a bit too... well, it just doesn't hit the same way. This is different. This is exactly like that. I've also enjoyed the character dynamics, although to be fair there are only really 3, maybe 4 which stand out. Finley. He was great foil for Reacher. They are so different, and honestly I'd like to see more of them together. A no-nonsense guy and whatever Reacher is. It's simply great to see them hate but begrudgingly respect each other. Neely is great too. She's difficult to describe, but there's something about her that I simply enjoyed. A little bit chaotic, somewhat weird, and pretty nice all around. Pops up every time anyone needs help. David is similar, although... man, I'd hate this guy personally, but this asshole gets very amusing at times. And lastly is Paulie. I don't think there is much to say. Dude is huge, malicious, total dick, and it's not often someone makes a main character look small. I don't envy the actor's back or knees. That must be torture. Boy, the height like that, oof. Anyway, I don't think there's anything that I flat out dislike in this show, just that the season 3 drags on for a bit. Honestly, 2 maybe as well, probably, but it's simply down to the fact that season 1 is just so well done, well paced, well written. It's just not just gunfights every 5 minutes. Whenever it was hand-to-hand combat, I was a lot more entertained, and there is simply less of it in seasons 2 and 3. Also less actual detective work. Point is that season 1 is great and I'd recommend it without a second thought. 2 is a bit cheesy and felt like the Avengers, where a bunch of people come together for one last job to avenge their friends. Yeah, not a great premise, but it kind of worked. But season 3, well, it was a mess, but I enjoyed the more subtle approach to things instead of constant guns blazing. Before it went again, guns blazing. So yeah, just 3 seasons out right now. There are only 8 episodes each, so it's not a very lengthy endeavor. So I'd recommend it. It's a fairly good show.